Smite is better than League of Legends, and in this video, I'll be explaining why. So sit down, grab some popcorn, and get ready for a totally unbiased opinion. The gameplay. Gameplay is the single most important part of the gaming experience. You could have the best main menu, the best graphics, and the best story, but if the game isn't fun, then none of that matters. League of Legends offers a diverse array of champions for players to choose from, each equipped with their own unique abilities. Throughout each game, players earn gold and experience, allowing them to buy items and improve their champion's skills as they play. As a whole, teamwork and strategy are crucial as players work together to push through waves of enemies, protect their nexus, and take key objectives to win the game. And that, honestly, is just the tip of the iceberg for everything going on in this game. For main mechanics, League employs a top-down perspective, with players primarily using point-and-click movement for their champions. In terms of camera control, it's typically either locked to your character with the Y key, or set to a free camera controlled by the mouse. The latter is typically the more favored of the two, as vision is shared across the entire team, so a free camera allows players to gain important insight on what's happening throughout the map. This then allows players to use the ping system, or type in chat, to communicate and make big plays happen. Just like movement, for combat, you point and click to attack, and also use champion abilities using the keyboard and mouse. Now, personally, I've never been a super big fan of the combat in this game. There's something about the top-down perspective, coupled with the disembodied camera and clicking to attack, that just seems to pull me out of the game. And I know that as you get into the game, you really start to micromanage your movements and use abilities a lot more precisely, and everything in general just gets a lot more crazy. But sometimes I'll be playing and I just end up feeling like a spectator rather than a player. And that's not to say it can't be fun, but sometimes I'll be playing and it just won't do anything for me. I don't know, I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. Since Smite is also a MOBA, it has a lot of the same aspects as League. It offers a diverse array of gods for players to choose from, each equipped with their own unique abilities. Players earn gold and experience, buy items, level up, enhance abilities. You get the idea. The key difference is that rather than a top-down perspective, Smite is actually third person. This makes a huge difference in gameplay, since with a third-person perspective, every attack and ability has to be manually aimed. This completely transforms the traditional MOBA experience, as rather than simply observing the battlefield from above, you're right in the heart of the action, giving you a much deeper connection to everything going on in the game. You'll feel every skill shot, every melee attack, and every dodge as you're immersed into each and every match. Not only all that, but the third-person perspective also makes it possible to use a controller to play the game, which means that Smite isn't just PC exclusive. You can also play it on the Xbox, the PlayStation, and even the Nintendo Switch. This actually makes Smite one of the most accessible MOBAs out there, unlike League, which is sadly PC exclusive. So for anyone who's a console gamer, Smite is the natural choice. And for me, Smite has way more immersive gameplay anyways, so it's always the better choice. As of now, League has 3 main game modes. Well, technically just 2, but we'll get to that in a second. First off, we have Summoner's Rift, League's primary game mode. This is the standard 5v5 MOBA map with 3 lanes, a jungle, and a network of turrets guarding each base. The goal of each match is to push through the lanes and destroy the enemy's nexus. The only problem is that the nexus is invulnerable so long as all 3 inhibitors are alive. To destroy the inhibitors, you must first get through each tower in a lane successively. Once you've finally done that, and successfully destroyed the inhibitor, your nexus will begin spawning super minions, which will then help you take down the enemy nexus, allowing you to win the game. If needed, you can always recall back to base to heal and buy items. Up next, we have ARAM, which stands for All Random, All Mid. This is my personal favorite between the two, as in this game mode, you're given a random champion. If you don't like the champion you get, you can always reroll or switch with a teammate. The map functions the same basic way as Summoner's Rift, with just 3 major differences. First, there's no top and bottom lane, and no jungle, meaning it's only the one lane. Second, after leaving the base, the shop becomes disabled, only becoming enabled again if you die. And third, which is that the base does not provide any restoration of any kind, so there's no point to recalling back to base at all. And that's it. 2 game modes. That's all the game modes for League. Wait, I almost forgot. There's also Teamfight Tactics. This is considered to be a completely separate game from League, so it's not really a game mode, but just to touch on it briefly, it's a spin-off auto-battler of League of Legends. Oh, and League will also periodically add some special game modes, but from what I understand, they're infrequent and it's hard to predict when they'll actually be playable. As of now, Smite has 5 maps and 6 plus game modes, 2 of which are very similar to League's. There's Conquest, which is Smite's version of Summoner's Rift, and Assault, which is equivalent to ARAM. That being said, while these game modes at their core are interchangeable with each other, there are enough differences here and there to give them their own distinct feelings. Remember how for League I mentioned you have to destroy the inhibitor, which spawns super minions which help kill the enemy nexus? Well, in Smite, rather than an inhibitor and a tower, it's a phoenix. And rather than spawning super minions, killing a phoenix empowers entire lines of minions. And lastly, instead of killing the enemy nexus, you're killing the enemy titan. These changes not only align to Smite's mythological theme, but are also a bit more interactive than lanes with just towers. From there, we've got 3 more main game modes: Slash, Joust, and Arena. Slash is essentially a more casual conquest. It's smaller at 2 lanes rather than 3, and is still a 5v5. This leads to some much faster paced gameplay, which results in matches that are generally shorter than the average conquest match. Joust follows this same progression. It's even smaller than Clash, and is just 1 lane. What's interesting about it though, is that the game mode is only a 3v3, which ends up being a nice change from the usual 5v5 format. Which brings us to probably the most unique map in Smite: Arena. Arena is a fast-paced brawl where there's no lanes or objectives. Rather than killing the Titan, it introduces a ticket-based system where the goal is to reduce the enemy's ticket count to 0 by killing enemy gods and minions. It's the most straightforward map in Smite, and is a great game mode for new players or for players who enjoy constant teamfights without all the extra steps of having different lanes and objectives. Last but not least, we have the game mode of the day. Just like League, Smite has its own special game modes. These are much more frequent than League's, and just like the name implies, the mode changes every day. These different modes could be as simple as a 2v2 on Assault, to breaking the game by allowing everyone on a team to pick the same gods. It adds a unique twist to the usual gameplay, and is generally a fun break from some of the more competitive maps of the game. Smite will also periodically release even more special modes, but these are much more infrequent, as they are usually only released during events. Even so, Smite has a lot of options, which means there's a game mode for everybody. This variety ends up making the game way more casual friendly, as some of the modes are designed to be less competitive and more fast paced. Plus, there's plenty of ways to spice up your gameplay, rather than playing the same 2 game modes over and over and over again. Like I mentioned earlier, League has quite the diverse array of champions to choose from, and this is actually where I want to give League some credit. Coming up with 165 unique characters, all with their own lore, is no small feat. Not to mention the animated videos they're famous for doing. I know people who don't even play League who know who Jinx is, and that's just one example. I honestly think that the champions are a big reason that so many people continue to play League of Legends. I mean, some of these characters are actually awesome. So really, hats off to the design team, man, because this is one of the best parts of League. As far as cosmetics go, in the client you have avatars, banners, borders, and titles to customize your profile, and in game you have emotes, ward skins, and champion skins, with champion skins being by far the most popular. These skins give your favorite champions a completely new look, often with thematic changes, new animations, and fresh sound effects. I think in general the skins themselves look good, or even great, with the occasional couple skins that really stand out as exceptional, varying from skins that are absolutely gorgeous to ones that are just hilarious. Only downside is that they generally cost RP, the in-game currency of League, which can only be earned by paying with real money. You can also use RP to buy champions you don't own, or you can use the free in-game currency Blue Essence, which is just earned by playing the game. It's a nice free alternative to earning champions, but it can take a good amount of playtime before you're able to purchase some of the more expensive characters. Which brings me to my biggest issue with League: how limited your access is to understanding a champion's abilities and the details of a skin before making a purchase. For starters, if you don't own a particular champion, there's no way to test out their abilities in a practical game scenario. Instead, you're limited to watching small ability snippets, which often don't provide a comprehensive understanding of how the champion functions. Additionally, when considering buying a skin or not, the only preview you get is a 2D art image, which doesn't allow you to fully appreciate how the skin looks in-game. Many times, it's only when you finally purchase the skin that you get to see the model and feel how it plays, which can be disappointing if it doesn't meet your expectations. Furthermore, in practice mode, you're restricted to using only champions and skins you already own. This severely limits your ability to experiment and explore different champions and skins you may be interested in, preventing you from making more informed decisions about your in-game purchases. These limitations can end up frustrating for players who want to explore different champions and skins without committing to a purchase first. After all, what a letdown it would be to spend hours and hours to earn something, only to realize it wasn't what you were expecting and be disappointed. Rather than champions, Smite offers a diverse array of gods for players to choose from. These gods are all from varying pantheons, all with their own historic backgrounds and compelling lore. Since all gods from the game are inspired by real mythology, they didn't have to invent lore from scratch, but they more than compensate for that with their inventive character designs. These designs are visually impressive, but they also do an exceptional job of representing the deities they're meant to portray. This representation of real-world legends and histories can prove to be engaging, especially for players who enjoy mythology. In addition, Smite's third-person perspective significantly enhances the enjoyment of these characters. It quite literally brings you closer to the action after all, allowing you to fully appreciate the intricate details and animations of each god. This is a stark contrast to the top-down view of League of Legends, where the perspectives can sometimes create a sense of detachment from the characters, affecting your overall immersion. Naturally, the perspective difference also benefits Smite's cosmetics. And speaking of cosmetics, Smite has a lot more to choose from than League. First, for profile customization, you can change your avatar. From there, we have pre-game cosmetics, in which you have pedestals, loading frames, and loading screens. And lastly, we have our in-game cosmetics, where we have emotes, voice packs,
Retreat!
jump stamps, recall skins, announcer packs,
Pentakill! Kiss me. Kiss me right now, dude.
music themes, HUD themes, fountain skins, level up skins, death marks, titles, ward skins, and of course, god skins. With such a plethora of cosmetics to choose from, there's something for everyone, whether you're looking to customize your profile, enhance your pre-game experience, or express yourself in the heat of battle. And not only that, with so many aspects to customize, you can tailor almost every element of the game to match your unique style and preferences. But let's talk about everyone's favorite cosmetic, god skins. Just like League, Smite skins give your favorite gods a completely new look, often with thematic changes, new animations, and fresh sound effects. These skins are typically acquired using gems, which is generally purchased with real money. However, unlike League, where RP can only be obtained in this manner, Smite has a free alternative. You can actually earn gems through the weekly login bonus, by participating in special in-game events, or sometimes as rewards during promotional events. While it may take some time, the chance to get cosmetics like god skins without a financial investment is a totally plausible option for players who are dedicated enough. And you know what the best part is? You can actually test gods and their various skins in practice mode, even if you don't own them. If I boot up this brand new account I made and head to practice mode, I'm able to choose any god with any of their skins. Oh, you want to buy this skin for Zeus? Try it in practice mode first. Thinking about buying Anubis? Try him in practice mode first. I mean, come on. This is such a nice feature, it's actually ridiculous you can't do it in League. Anyways, back to talking about the skins themselves. Smite has a diverse array of different skins, and I'd say that most of them are as good, if not better than League's. That being said, it's actually really hard to make a comparison, since all skins from both games are fundamentally designed with different themes in mind. I will say though, when Smite skins are good, they're really good. They're not afraid to go all out. The same holds true for their funny skins. I cannot express to you how absolutely ridiculous some of their skins are in this game. Whether it's the Greek god of the sea Poseidon dressed in red, white, and blue riding a jet, or the Mayan serpent of the nine winds Kukulkan as a literal pool noodle. And it's not even just their models that are crazy. Just take a look at Poseidon's ultimate. Instead of summoning the Kraken, he summons a giant, buff, bald eagle that flexes all over the enemy team. You can't make this stuff up. So yeah, Smite has a lot of great skins, and holy shit, is that Danny Phantom?
He's a phantom.
But for real, you can't talk about Smite skins without talking about their crossovers. Smite has introduced some absolutely wild crossover skins, and it's quite the mix-up, seeing gods from various mythologies donning the attire of characters from other games, shows, or even memes. It has crossovers with Ruby, Avatar The Last Airbender, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Monster Cat, Stranger Things, Transformers, Slipknot, Nickelodeon, RuneScape, Magic the Gathering, G.I. Joe, V-Shoujo, and some others. Now this might just be my inherent bias talking, but I gotta say I think Smite skins are better. As I looked at all the skins League had to offer, I personally couldn't help but feel disappointed. Maybe it's just because I like the third person perspective so much more, but Smites just feel more immersive to me. Ultimately, while I think Smite is better, when it comes to Smite vs. League of Legends, both games offer unique experiences that cater to different preferences. Smite's focus on mythological characters, diverse game modes, and third person perspective provide a gaming environment that's incredibly immersive and captivating. On the other hand, League's strategic gameplay and depth make it an enduring classic in the world of MOBAs. In the end, it's all about preference, as everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Just know that if you like League more than Smite, you're wrong.